Matt,
Sylvester.
Matty.
welcome to Meet the Locals / Meta. I don't really know. It's like a look at the meta report.
Talk about the game.
Talk about the game state a little bit. Where we talk about what happens more at locals, I guess, than outside, and we just consider like what we're going to be looking at going forward. Our experience as players in a regional format and or in a locals format. And more of just a get to know the people that generally play at Underworld, since we are here more casually and locally than some others. That's all. So this is our local resident top 200
Oh no!
regional
Top
player.
200 regional player. Wow, yeah.
He absolutely crapped the bed the last time, but
Yeah,
you know,
we don't
top
know about
200,
last time.
Top 200.
Okay, sorry. Credit where credit is due. It's not regionals. It was
Oh,
championship.
World
Worlds,
Qualifier.
yeah, it was
World's
Worlds.
Qualifier.
It was, yeah,
World's Qualifier. Top 200.
which is above
Just.
the board.
Literally 200.
Literally. Oh.
Top 200. Still in.
Just.
Still in.
That's what we like to see.
So, Matty, I think first question, obviously, you did quite well at that event in Liverpool, and congrats
I
on
was
that.
happy.
Yeah, of course. When did you start playing One Piece?
Probably about a year ago.
Okay.
I think it was either September or August. So
Around
little.
set 7-ish, set 6-ish.
Yeah, I think it might have been set 5 pre-release that I was in the game.
Okay. So obviously when you first started playing the game, like how did you hear about it? Was it through friends, LGS, that sort of deals?
So my mate was originally trying to get me into Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
And we were on our way because we go buy some Magic cards, and he started talking about One Piece because he's obsessed with it.
Right.
And then he's like, "Oh, there's a One Piece card game." And that day, we buy a booster box, we split it, and then from that point on, we're like, "Okay, these cards look sick. They sound sick. We want to play it." We had no clue where, so we came here.
Mhm.
We met you guys, and I think we bought one of the structure decks. We played that in our first event.
Okay. And yeah, from that point on, you were just thrown into it. And
Yeah.
Okay. So, what were your first thoughts about playing the game, both like in pre-release and in a more constructed environment?
So I think pre-release was weird because coming from only playing card games as a kid, where you just play like the random cards you chuck together, it's very much like you look at a card, you think this looks cool, but it's not actually very good.
Mhm.
And there's a very big learning curve there with pre-release, especially of trying to know what's a good card for pre-release and a good card for playing the game. Constructed wise, it was just kind of trying to find a deck list and getting those cards. Because it was like, we don't know what we're doing, the decks we've got don't really work, we just need something playable so we can learn how to play this game and how it works.
And obviously, since then, you have
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
a long way,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
good.
I was going to say, it was at that point when you're getting cards from, you said set 5, from that point that's when the price spike was still there on it. The game is now a lot more affordable than it has been previously.
Yes.
Which is just to consider, like you're saying, just getting the cards, a lot of the the secrets and stuff like that was solidly settled at 50 quid and higher and those are like meta cards, you think like 8-drop categories
Oh,
and
yes.
stuff like that were very
Yes.
high priced at the time to when you joined.
Yeah,
As
so
as to now where they're a lot more universally available to people with the introduction of premium booster, and stuff like that.
Show sounds amazing. I'm so glad the prices have come back down. Because when we first started getting into it, it was just ridiculous. Trying to build a deck by following a list online, you just look, you're like, well, that card there is 20 quid. And it's not even an all art. It's just
And
Black
yes,
Sabo.
You need 4
And you need 4 of them.
It keeps basically makes you deck viable.
Yeah.
From a local standpoint, it's very viable at that point. I don't think it changes much at regionals and stuff like you'd already have it set for that sort of standard.
Yeah.
So, obviously, price on individual cards, which obviously doesn't exist, is always a gatekeeper from entering into a new hobby. Why does it exist? Why do developers and companies that are producing the game, not do anything about it. We all know the answer for that.
Yeah.
We all know the answer for that. There is nothing else to discuss about it. But as you both have said, with PRB coming out, the game is now affordable.
Yeah.
And I think everyone is happy about it. That's now the hobby, because it is a hobby.
Yes.
And with every hobby, you only spend as much money on it as you feel justified.
For, yes, of course.
So if you don't feel it justified on spending £500 on a single deck, then you don't.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But then obviously it is at the end of the day a card game.
Yeah.
It's a game, and
Yeah.
games
Are
should
there to
be
be fun.
affordable and they should be fun, yes. And gatekeeping people from a monetary point just deducts the amount of fun that you can have.
Of course.
And it also, as I said, gatekeeping just makes it so that less people are able to engage with the game.
Of course.
So
So
PRB,
good in general.
definitely
Yeah.
positive.
Well, let's go back to Matty then. So
Mhm.
you say you joined in the 05 match. So what deck did you originally start playing when you joined the format?
So immediately, because I hadn't watched any One Piece from when I started playing the game, so it was mainly like just whoever's on the card. So of course, my friend with a leader he knew from the anime. I was like, cool. I want this guy because he's cool. And I picked Red Ace because the effect sounded interesting. I like the idea of being aggressive and then also running a control deck at the same time, which his effect allows you to do with being able to trash events for counter value.
Yeah.
My first iteration of the deck was god awful.
Okay.
We didn't have any Whitebeard Pirate stuff because
Yeah.
I think 01 and 2 were both sold out at that time.
Yeah.
Um,
Struggling.
I remember Mask Deuce being the best 2K counter I had in the deck,
Yeah.
and possibly the only 2K counter I had at that time. And luckily I had the Three Brothers structure deck, so we did have our Rush Zoros and tidbits from that, which I have to say is what the deck mainly was. It was all the control bits from that, the rush bits from that, and then little bits of commons and uncommons that we had lying around at Underworld. But I had a great time with it, and it is one of my favourite leaders to this day. God, I wish it was meta, but no, sadly not.
It could you could make it meta from a local standpoint. Like I say,
Oh, yeah,
it's nothing-
definitely.
You don't have to take it that far, like you say. We look at. I mean, me and you specifically. I generally tend to play random rogue decks a lot of time. I tried the meta at one point, and don't get me wrong, it can be interesting, but I'd sooner try and win with something a lot more different.
Yeah.
If you see the same stuff over and over, it does get very repetitive, very boring. And having something different livens up the local scene a lot more than the same thing over.
Yeah.
So from your point of playing Ace, then, what did you play then going into regionals or worlds?
So my regional experience was weird because the first time I went to a regionals, it wasn't because it was a regionals. It's because my friends were going. I made a new group of friends, and I was enjoying One Piece. Like, I just want to play.
Okay.
So I went with my actually built Red Ace deck, Whitebeard Pirate stuff in it, you know, all that, and did shockingly, to say the least. It was the time where Sakazuki was very much the deck.
Yep.
And I think I paired 3 or 4 of them in my 8 games.
Sounds about right.
And it was sit there and lose and cry about it.
You
And I was
you
like-
could scoot beforehand, I guess, but
I thought about it.
yeah, it's not that minute.
But yeah, after that, I kind of realised, as much as I enjoy playing Ace, I'm very competitive and I very much enjoy the regionals, like the way just the whole environment is.
Mhm.
I love the tournament structure. I love, you know, meeting the new people and seeing what their deck does, how they interact with my deck, that kind of stuff. So from that point on, I was like, cool, as much as I have fun decks, I want to build a deck that's competitive and in the meta.
Yeah.
Which is then how I started stretching into Doffy. So I played Blue Doffy quite a bit. And it started off as a meme deck because it wasn't meta. This was before OP07. So before we even had Jinbeis, I was trying to play it.
Before EBO 1.
It was before EBO. Oh, because we didn't even have Weevils.
Yep.
No, that's, yeah.
EBO
Um,
1's where Dofi started to kind of tip a bit more into the meta, and then once you got OPO7 support,
It started seeing
and then
more
you got,
play.
and then you get to 8, and then you had the new structure for Dofi, which
Oh,
really added.
God, yeah.
See, so that's when you look at the state of the meta in that respect, it's like blue was not really that prevalent.
It
in
was
that
very
point.
much
It was
a
mainly
support
Sakazuki.
colour.
Yeah. And Sakazuki was mainly prevalent because of the black support it had,
Yeah, it was
rather than the blue. The blue was good, but the black made the blue so much
Yeah.
better.
So pushing from EBO 1 where you got the first card, which was Weevil, and then you also got 7, which was Law, Crocodile, Jinbei.
Yeah.
Even Boa coming in kind of really helped it stabilise a bit if you were playing more higher end than just playing a full 4-drop set.
I know my first iteration of the build, it was chuck in, I think it was like 3 10-drop draw 4 Kaido, 3 9-drop Sanji, and then 2 9-drop Mihawk and 3 7-drop King. And it was basically just use the leader effect to get early game advantage, and then late game just sit there and be like, my hand is huge, look at my big body, my hand is huge, look at my big bodies. And I think that's not how the deck plays now at all. Like, it plays a couple of the 10 drops, but it's such an aggressive deck because it's finally got that support it needs with the Jinbei that's pushed it into the meta. I think they do need to... It upsets me a little. It's why So at the moment, I'm actually playing Purple Luffy. I've moved away from Doffy because they've pushed Doffy to a point where it's so meta, I don't enjoy playing it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
07, they made it so it wasn't the top deck in the game. They made it so it had Jinbei, it had the new Boa, and it was like, you come against it, it's a threat, but it's play aroundable, and you can choose how you build the deck. You know, there was wiggle room for, I want to run this card, I want to run 10-drop Kaido, or I want to run 9-drop Sanji. Like, there was a choice. Now it seems very much, with the new iterations from the structure deck, play these cards, or you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So that state is what people playing card games would refer to as the deck is solved.
Yeah.
As in, you have a set deck list, you have to run these cards, you have these like 4 or 5 cards, that is your wiggle room that you can let go of, and then put in tech choices, and those tech choices are cards for matchups that you are not experienced into.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is how card games work, but as you mentioned, there is always something new to go to.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen with locals, you are enjoying Purple Luffy quite a lot.
It's so fun. It's such a silly deck. Like, Purple's always been interesting to me because I love the idea of ramping getting that advantage, but of course we had the Age of Purple where it was just awful. There was not enough support for Purple to do anything it wanted to do unless you were playing Red Purple Law, which, in my opinion, didn't play how I wanted to play Purple. I want to play Purple to play the big stuff. Red Purple Law said, I'm going to stop you from playing things and play those little things, which is fine. It was a good deck. It was fun to play. It's not why I wanted to play Purple. Purple Leafy now is just so... Look at my big bodies and weep. I love it.
That sounds accurate. Yeah.
Relatively accurate nowadays. It used to be like that for OPO1. Sylvester, you've obviously been judging and been around since pre-starter deck stuff, I want to say. Pre-starter deck, like structure deck one, I want to say.
So I've started with set 1, unfortunately due to time constraints and financial reasons, I was unable to travel down to the super pre-release. I would have very much wanted to. I just didn't have time, didn't have the money exactly to travel. So I missed out on that, but I have been around all the way from set 1, and then during set 2 time in like early to end of January. So around the dawn of set 2 being announced and we start talk about it, I've made my judge exam, and then since then I've been mainly doing locals, judging at locals, just to make the experience smoother for the store. And the game has been through a lot, like second year into it now, and it just makes me feel old that I remember how the game started and where it is now. And also just being able to look back into it and just remember those awful moments when a Rush Zoro, the base standard art, was valued higher than a secret Shanks from set 1. It's just, you know, it is just weird to look back those days, and then now you look at it and everything has been just reprinted so many times, all the new product coming out, with how much more complex the game is, with all the new mechanics that have been introduced, all the leaders that are in. The game has come a long way, and there were some big bumps along the road, but those are behind us, and all in all, it's in a really good state now.
No. So with you, Matty, dropping off playing Dofi, would you not have all been concerned with us now getting to the OPO9 meta, playing more into what would have been a more difficult deck for you to play in Teach? Teach would being a lot more harder for your cards to get on play. You're losing card advantage. Would it all be tempted to go back knowing that there's something that can actually hold it back a bit more?
I'd say with regional, it's weird. As much as there's winning, there's having fun, and I think last time I went to regionals, last regionals we had, I played Duffy. Wasn't the 09 meta yet, but it was Duffy in the state of 8.5 being, this is the deck solved, this is how you have to play it. And I sat there and I played my cards, and I'm like, I don't have a choice in what I play. The cards are telling me what I play. If I don't play them, I lose. And I think I went 1-3 because I sat down, I was given my cards, I played them, and 8-drop Gecko Mario was dropped 2 or 3 times per game, and it's just, I can't do anything about that. And
but this is 8.5 meta, so that's with all your new structured export.
Yeah, but there's still no way about getting around Mario.
Getting around Lucci and Mario.
It's just...
Yeah. Okay. But I was more referencing like the Teach side of things. It seems like black is still the heavy counter colour for blue at this present moment in time. Or do you not think something more like Shanks might be a bit more difficult for you to handle with, Lucky Root KOing if you start going aggressive?
I feel like Shanks would be the harder matchup. Mainly because of its just ease of removal with all the cards it has to help with that. I really want to test Duffy into Blackbeard because as much as all my on-plays will probably get shut off, I feel like just the leader effect on its own will be strong enough to aggressively just push Blackbeard off of having any advantage. Because you've still got all the cards, you're still not playing cards from your hand, you're playing them from your deck, and you don't... The things you lose are the same things Blackbeard's losing, which are your on-plays. I feel like it equals out where you can tech the deck to play more vanillas to then be able to easily beat Blackbeard.
Okay.
In the 07 meta, I think it was just kind of standard to run 2 of the 4-for-6 Gecko Mario vanilla.
OPO2.
And I can see that having a comeback against Teach, because if, swinging 7 on turn 2 and tapping 1, getting a 6-drop, like 6k body out, any deck's going to struggle against that, especially a deck that might not be able to remove it in the next turn, with having 4 Don, play Laboon, no Don then to remove the Gecko Mario you've dropped.
That's an interesting take, and I'm more than happy to give you a couple games with Teach.
I'll cry, but I do want to see how
you test that theory.
If you don't come to locals to have fun, you cry.
Yeah.
Okay, mate, good to know.
Yeah, there is a saying at Underworld Games: you come for the games and you stay for the abuse.
Yeah, why not? Might as well.
It is a running joke here.
Well, yeah.
Fuck off, Sylvester.
There goes our Peggy
Hecklers,
18.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any other questions we wanted to ask Matty? Like, what are you cooking at the minute? What are we currently looking at building?
So I'm building a lot at the moment because, like I said, there's regional viable, and then I've got another friend who's recently into the game, and playing Purple Luffy against Calgara, it does not work for Calgara. He just sits there as I just say, no, you don't do this. So it's just, I'm building green-purple Doffy is what I'm looking at. There's red-purple Uta, which I think needs so much more support and needs to be more viable. and then I've got Arlong and Vivi built. And I feel like they're decks that are so fun, and they're viable. They've got stuff they needed, but there's so many little tidbits that they just need to add extra to make them playable against the meta.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, some generic small support for more overshadowed archetypes.
Yeah. It's always more welcome, to
Yeah.
be fair. It makes, again, livens the meta up more.
And to be
100%.
fair, I'm somewhere on the same take. I think film, Fishman,
Yeah,
Fishman needs.
There
I would
are-
love a Jinbei leader.
Celestial's
Can you
Dragon.
imagine? Celestial.
there are some really obscure
There's loads of
archetypes.
I'll just let there's loads.
Smile. Do you know how many smile cards there are?
We're getting some smile
We're
cards.
gonna be getting some.
We're getting
smile
Oh,
cards.
that'd be good.
We're getting Punk Hazard in
That's true.
09,
That's true.
I believe. No, we know.
But there's so many little cards that
Just
are
10.
like.
There's no O, it's just 10. OP10.
I need to get used to that.
Oh
It's just
no,
open-
that's
yeah,
horrible.
I keep
Yeah,
referring
that's.
to it as O10, but it's just 10.
OP10.
Oh, I hate that.
It's gonna
That's
be so
crazy.
weird.
So good. Sylvester mentioned in the last video if he was old anyway. Just think it's worse. Shut up.
Oh dear.
Okay. Then I think a final question is, what would you like to see more from the game coming, like future events or future sets? What is that you're wanting to see more, wanting to see less? So like, as you said, more support for like more obscure archetypes to make more leaders more viable. That's a good take, and I agree with that. What else?
Well, I think there's an easy way they could do that, and this is one of the things I really hope they end up doing is making more of the structured decks. So we had that huge wave of new structured decks, featuring decks like Doffy, Whitebeard, Green Uta,
Yeah.
and I think that was great. Like that boosted so many decks either into the meta or just becoming more viable. I think they just need to do that with so many other decks. There's so many leaders out there that just need like little pushes to be good.
Mhm.
Like imagine a Kuro structured deck. We could have
Okay.
so much from a Kuro structured deck because it's just little East Blue cards that allow you to chuck down a couple of East Blues so then you can get your leader effect more often. And they just need to add just these little bits that then all these other leaders that we see and we have are actually played.
And then more structured decks obviously means more product.
Yeah, more
And-
products.
Structured decks are obviously an entry product. You
Hmm.
buy
Yeah,
it,
you do that to get
sleeve
into
it up
the game.
from the box, and you play it out of the box. So yeah, more structured decks.
And if they put packs in the structured decks again, I'm buying 2 of each. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. You missed out on the last set then.
No, I got 2 of each. It was nice.
Oh, okay.
It's very,
Right.
very beautiful.
Nice little thing off camera.
Liam's so happy.
Well, I don't know what to say about that.
Scarcity of product has always been an issue,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's very true.
And obviously with One Piece, it is at the point the best performing card
Yeah, card
game
game.
product that Bandai has pushed out. It is growing steadily.
Otherwise, they're never going to stop.
Each
World supremacy is
with each
something.
set you are having more and more players playing the game,
Hmm.
but I don't know, amount of product that they are releasing, it doesn't seem to meet the demand
Hmm.
that we have. So I think that should be one thing that they could work on, just up the amount of product that they are putting out on the market.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that everyone has enough
Yeah, of
to
course.
have the game available for them.
It's an interesting thing. I did find that a problem with first starting is trying to get into a game when everything is being sold out, or just people with more money than you just buying things to then scalp it online.
Yeah.
Always a problem with card games, but it's just such a shame. There's nothing that can really be done.
Unfortunately, unless the devs themselves tell the big man upstairs to, hey, we have this issue,
We need more.
yeah, nothing's gonna be done about it, unfortunately.
By the point I think you're talking about is the point that you're looking at product, they're already printing product for like 6 and so 7.
Yeah,
Literally
yeah.
printing the next product for us to buy, not reprinting the old product for
Yeah.
someone like a newer player to get into.
Yeah, and also there are like a lot of like steps on how it gets decided, on how much product they are printing out, like how much they can afford to print out to begin
Where they
with.
can send it to.
That too. So there is a lot going into it, but in general, if they could figure out how to be able to send out more product onto the market, you don't have to worry about of it flooding out the market and making a product worthless, because that just means more people are going to play it.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
with more players,
There's
you
more
have
demand.
more demand.
Yeah.
And
Obviously.
it's just then supports a more steady growth. Obviously, you need to do it small, but it's something that you should strive to achieve.
So what I found with PRB is why I think it's really good is a lot of the old alt arts have raised in price because of the new alt arts that have come in. You can so they're reprinting cards for casual players, but then for collectors and sellers, all your old cards are now increasing in value because they're not being reprinted. The base versions of them are being reprinted.
Yeah.
And I prefer that so much more because, like, a regular Black Sabo being 20 quid when I first started, and now being like 5 or 10, is so much nicer. And then the alt art for it being more makes so much more sense. So you can get a viable deck, and then if you have the money or if you have the trades, you can then splash it out and make it look nice.
Yeah, make it your own. Yeah. Mate, thank you for sitting down with us, I guess.
Yeah, no worries.
Nice
It's
chat.
good fun.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look to get a couple more of people who are interested in having a conversation with anyone interested in coming down and playing at locals. Introduce the scene.
Potentially not just One Piece, but
Yeah, we
other
could
card
look at
games
other
as
people in
well.
general, yeah.
If you want me back, I'm open play.
Well, we'll find out. We'll see how
We'll
it
see.
goes.
See if they like me or not.
We'll see how it goes. Till next time.